The soul in the eye of the storm. In moments of crisis, whether personal, collective, or global, something deep within us is shaken. The certainties that once gave us direction dissolve. Our routines, roles, relationships, and even identities may fall into question. But amid the instability, there is a whisper, a spiritual voice that emerges not to explain the pain, but to guide us through it. Times of crisis are portals. They invite a different kind of listening, a deeper seeing and a reawakening of the soul. This is not about bypassing pain, but about discovering the power within it. It is in these very moments that spirituality is not just relevant, it becomes essential. This journey explores the spiritual messages that crises offer, drawing from ancient wisdom, modern insights, and lived experience. These teachings are not dogma. They are invitations. Invitations to remember, to reflect, to rise, and to return to yourself, to meaning, and to something greater. Crisis as a call to awakening. Crisis shatters illusions. It strips away what is superficial and confronts us with what is real. And in that rawness, a spiritual doorway opens. We begin to ask deeper questions. Who am I without what I've lost? What truly matters now? What is life trying to teach me? These are not easy questions, but they are sacred. They pull us out of autopilot and invite us into presence. Crisis can be a catalyst for spiritual awakening, not because the suffering itself is sacred, but because our response to it can be. The power of spiritual surrender. In the face of chaos, control becomes an illusion, and yet we resist surrender. We grip tighter, trying to hold on to what is already gone. But surrender is not giving up. It is letting go of the illusion of control and stepping into trust. Spiritual surrender is an act of strength. It says, I don't know what comes next, but I trust there is a deeper wisdom at work. This trust is not blind. It's born from connection. It arises when we remember that we are not alone, that something larger holds us even when everything falls apart. Finding purpose in pain. Suffering can feel meaningless unless we allow it to teach us. That doesn't mean every crisis has a clear lesson, but there can be purpose within pain. A greater empathy for others, a realignment with your soul's path, a remembering of what you once forgot. Many spiritual traditions teach that the soul evolves through challenge, that the wound is where the light enters, and that faith is not the absence of suffering, it is the resilience we build within it. Messages from stillness. In crisis, the noise can be deafening, both outside and inside, but there is a message in stillness. In the pause, in the silence between what was and what will be. Make space for spiritual listening. Whether through meditation, prayer, journaling, or simply sitting with your breath, stillness is where insight emerges. Your soul speaks softly, and it often says things your mind doesn't expect. You are stronger than you feel. This too is a part of your path. You are not broken, you are becoming. The role of faith in uncertainty. Faith is not a promise of safety. It is a compass in the unknown. It reminds us that we are part of something larger, something eternal. In crisis, faith may look like trusting the next step, even when the path is unclear, praying not for answers, but for strength, believing that this moment, however painful, is not the end of your story. Faith doesn't erase fear, it walks with it, and slowly it transforms it. Spiritual resilience. Building strength from within. Resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about becoming deeper, wiser, and more compassionate through adversity. Spiritual practices build this kind of resilience, breathwork that calms your nervous system, affirmations that remind you who you are, rituals that create meaning in the mundane. Spiritual resilience is the quiet strength that says, even now I rise. The gift of impermanence. Crisis teaches us that nothing lasts forever, not pain, not joy, not even life. And within that truth is liberation. When we embrace impermanence, we stop clinging. We begin to live with more presence, more gratitude, and more grace. Every ending carries the seed of a beginning, and every loss makes room for something new. Returning to inner wisdom. Often in crisis, we search outward for answers, but true guidance comes from within. Your intuition, your inner knowing, your soul voice, they are not gone. They are just waiting for you to listen again. Create sacred space to return inward. Light a candle. Close your eyes. Ask your higher self, what do I need to remember today? You'll be surprised by what you hear. Compassion as a spiritual practice. In times of crisis, our capacity for compassion is tested. For others and for ourselves, spiritual compassion is not pity. It is presence. It is seeing the divine in someone's pain without needing to fix it. It is forgiving yourself when you fall. It is loving without condition. Compassion transforms suffering into sacred connection. Building a spiritual routine for difficult times. Building a spiritual routine for difficult times. Morning gratitude, midday mindfulness, evening reflection. These practices are not luxuries, they are lifelines. They remind us that even in the storm we can create inner calm. Embracing the dark night of the soul. Some crises lead us into profound spiritual darkness, a place of doubt, emptiness, and silence. This dark night of the soul is not the end, it's a spiritual recalibration. In the darkness, we are invited to let go of old beliefs, identities, and attachments. We emerge not just healed but transformed. The dark night is where the deepest faith is born, remembering our shared humanity. Crisis reminds us that we are not alone. We all suffer, we all hope, we all fall and rise again. This shared experience is a spiritual bond. When we remember our common humanity, we find strength in togetherness. We become not just survivors, but sacred witnesses to each other's resilience, the healing power of nature. In crisis, nature can be a spiritual guide. The rhythm of waves, the silence of mountains, the steadiness of trees, they all remind us of what is eternal and wise. Walk in nature. Breathe with the earth. Let the natural world restore your nervous system and reconnect you with the sacred order of life. The wisdom of ancestors and elders. In difficult times, ancestral wisdom holds powerful medicine. The stories of those who came before, those who endured, prayed, and rebuilt, can anchor us in courage. Listen to the voices of elders. Read the prayers of ancient teachers. Let their strength become your strength. Crisis as a catalyst for sacred purpose. Sometimes crisis reveals a new path, one that wasn't visible before. You may discover a calling, a mission, a way to serve others that only your experience could have prepared you for. Let your pain become your power. Let your healing become your gift. This too is the work of the soul, rising from within. You may not have chosen this crisis, but you can choose how you meet it. You can rise, not in denial, but in truth, not in avoidance, but in sacred courage. The teachings are here. In the quiet moments when you feel lost. In the tears you've cried that softened your heart. In the strength you didn't know you had until now. Let this be a sacred chapter, one that breaks you open not into despair but into depth, one that invites you back, not to who you were, but to who you're becoming. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are being reborn, and in that rebirth may you find the faith to keep walking, the wisdom to keep learning, and the courage to keep loving through every storm. Love is and always will be the truth. Awaken and remember who you are. Live your essence. If this journey touched your heart, write the word Ubuntu in the comments. Because when you write it, you acknowledge your light and step into a new path. This channel is not just a channel. It's a movement, a family of souls awakening. If you feel the call, join us. Subscribe. Share this knowledge with those you love. Every subscription and share strengthens our collective awareness, and together we rise spiritually.